One message. So today we are doing a chapter reproduction in plants. Okay, class 7 CBSC. Okay, so I hope everyone is having textbook with you. Okay, keep your science NCERT textbook with you so that in between we require to check the diagrams and labeling of the diagrams. Okay, and at the end of this video I will tell you what are the important diagrams for the exams. Okay, that also we can do in this video. So sorry uh, sorry from my end. So we can do some questions from the textbook. Okay, and then we can go for the some extra questions. Okay, already we did the reproduction in plants. Okay, so I will give some basic idea for the reproduction. So reproduction means giving a birth to young ones. Okay, and giving a birth to young ones, that is through sexually or asexually. So we have to focus on asexual reproduction for class 7. Asexual reproduction means where only one gamete is involved for the in the process of reproduction. Okay, and mostly unicellular organisms perform the asexual reproduction, and whatever the young ones form, that young ones is exact carbon copy of their parent because only one gamete is involved. Okay, but if you take a sexual reproduction, in sexual reproduction we have the male as well as female gamete and they fuse together and they form embryo, zygote, and then the young ones. Okay, and the young ones form which is not a exact or 100% carbon copy of their parents, but in asexual there is a exact carbon copy of the parent as only one gamete is involved in the whole process. Okay, then in asexual reproduction, what are the single cell organisms are there, like amoeba is there, paramecium is there, then spirogyra is there, hydra is there. Okay, leishmania is there. Okay, so plasmodium are there. So many plasmodium is a bacteria, but here we have some single cellular organisms where they perform the asexual reproduction over here. Okay, so this is a basic idea. Then sometimes they will ask the difference between sexual and asexual reproduction. Okay, yes, hi Gitansh Sharma. Okay, and now I will ask you some fill in the blanks. So we'll do that first and then we'll go to the next part. Okay, so wait, I'll come. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. So I will read out the first question, try to answer. Okay, I required an answer from your end. First question, fill in the blanks. Production of new individuals from the vegetative part of parent is called. Okay, so here the reproduction in plants takes place through vegetative propagation, means with the help of root, stem and leaves. By using these three parts, there is a reproduction takes place in the plants. Okay, so these are the vegetative parts. So here they are saying production of new individual from the vegetative part of a parent is called dash. It is known as what? It is known as, can you type someone? This is nothing but the production will takes place in the plants by the vegetative parts, and that are known as what? Vegetative propagation. Getting this? That is known as vegetative propagation. So second question I will read out, try to give the answer. A flower, no, it's not roots, it's a vegetative propagation. Answer is vegetative propagation. Next is, a flower may have either male or female reproductive parts. Okay, such flowers are called as what? Okay, such flowers are called as what? While teaching also told you, I taught you some flowers are what, having both male and female gametes, and some flowers are having only this thing, only either male or female characters or female gametes, so that are known as a unisexual. Uni means one, bi means two. Okay, here the question is that flower may have either male or female reproductive parts. Okay, that is called as what? The unisexual flowers. Getting this? That is known as a unisexual flowers. Please read the textbook properly, otherwise you cannot give the answer. So next question, the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same or of another flower of the same kind is known as. I will repeat the question. The transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same or another flower of the same kind is known as what? Is known as what? Here pollen grains are transferring from stigma to the anther to stigma. That is nothing but what? Pollination. Okay, only required answer is pollination over here. Okay, next question, the fusion of male and female gamete is known as what? The fusion of male and female gametes is known as what? It is known as a fertilization. Okay, can you getting? So that is known as a fertilization. Next question, seed dispersal takes place by means of dash and dash. Okay, seed dispersal takes place due to what? Wind, water and animals. Okay, these are the three causes are there, so that seeds are what? Get dispersed, and they are what? Started, once they get the favorable condition, then they can started growing over there. Can you getting this? So these are the fill in the blanks. So we have to go for some questions. So describe the different methods of asexual reproduction and give the examples. Okay, everyone can write down the question. Describe the different methods of asexual reproduction. Give the examples. Okay, so if you have a NCERT textbook, then the very first asexual reproduction is nothing but vegetative propagation. Means with the help of stem, leaves and root, we can grow the new plant. Okay, as well as vegetative propagation examples are tuber of potato. Okay, and then rhizome of the ginger is there. Okay, then bryophyllum leaf is there. Then budding is also one asexual reproduction. So small bud is what started growing at the bottom of the hydra, or we can say that yeast. Okay, once yeast comes in contact with the moisture or water or liquid base, then they are what? Started growing at a rapid rate. Okay, that is also one example of budding. Then another is what? Fragmentation. So in fragmentation, once the actually Spirogyra is the example of fragmentation. So here what will happen, if there is a stringent water is there, then Spirogyra algae are what? Started growing. Once they become mature, they are what? Gets detached from the parent body and they are started growing as their own. Okay, so that is also example of fragmentation. Means Spirogyra is gets divided into fragments once it comes into the maturity level. Okay, and it is get detached from the parent Spirogyra. Okay, that is known as the fragmentation. Then one more example, that is a spore formation. Spore formation is nothing but what? If we have a bread mold and there is a fungus came on that, then there is a the bacteria are what? Started growing on that, and once the spores bacteria are there, means there is a black bluish substance is there. Okay, so that are nothing but spores, and once that spores are matured or if they get a favorable condition, then they will what? Get burst, and like that fungus is what started growing. So that is nothing but what a spore formation. So rhizopus, mucor, these all the examples we can take as a in the spores formation. Then fission is there. Fission we can observe in the amoeba. Okay, amoeba is a single cell organism where with the help of false feet, like with the help of pseudopodia, they are taking the food, they are digesting, and they are growing by themselves. And the nucleus of the uh, amoeba is become broaden and broaden, and it is what gets separated. Okay, then it is gets broadened and it is separated into two different parts. So single cell or single nucleus is gets divided into two different nuclei, is called as what? Fission. Fission means breaking of the breaking into two parts. So binary fission will takes place, that is we can observe in the form of with the help we can take under fission, we can take an example of amoeba. Okay, so from that the new organism will get formed. So these are the types. So what are the types of the vegetative, what are the different types of asexual reproduction? Vegetative propagation, budding, fragmentation, for spore formation, and last is nothing but what you are, the binary fission. Okay, so these are the 5 types are there in the syllabus. Okay, so can you getting this? What are the 4 methods, means what are the asexual what are the types, different types or different methods of the asexual reproduction? Okay, give the example. So this is very simple, try to learn this, don't by heart these questions. So first is nothing but vegetative propagation. In vegetative propagation we are taking the different parts of the plant like root, stem, and the leaves. Okay, and for example we can take here biophyllum leaf. Then we can go for the budding, the small spot is generated or outward projection is coming from the bud. Or if you take a yeast here, and when we soak this yeast, then number of for the microbes or microorganisms started growing in that, and there is a formation of these microbes. Okay, so that is nothing but budding. So now after that we have the spore formation, fission, and last one is nothing but your the fission. Okay, fission, spore formation, fragmentation, vegetative propagation, these are the different types of asexual reproduction. Okay, so explain, next question, write down, explain what you understand by sexual reproduction. Explain what you understand by sexual reproduction. What, explain what you understand by the sexual reproduction. So at the beginning of this chapter, sexual reproduction is nothing but sexual reproduction where the two gametes are required, male and female gametes are required, and when the male and female gametes are fused with each other, then it forms what? The new individual. Okay, and in sexual reproduction different reproductive organs are there in case of male and female. But when we comes towards the plant, then there is a asexual reproduction takes place. Even the flowers are also having some reproductive parts like a pistil, stamen. Okay, stamens and pistils are the male reproductive part, and in female reproductive are nothing but what? Anther and ovaries. These are the female reproductive part, and here both the gametes are also involved. Here also means male and female. Okay, so here in a sexual reproduction is a method where male and female gametes are fused to form a new individual. But in plants, stamen and pistil are the male and female reproductive organs which bears the anther and ovary. Okay, and when they fuse together they give the new flower or seed or fruit. Okay, so this is nothing but what? Sexual reproduction. Can you getting this? So one more important question, write down, State the main differences between sexual and asexual reproduction. Define or differentiate between sexual and asexual reproduction. Okay, as I told you, in if we make a 2 columns reproduction, we require only in asexual reproduction we require male, either male or female gamete. Getting this? So in sexual reproduction we require both male and female gametes. In asexual reproduction we require either male or female gametes. Can you getting this? First point, sexual and asexual. Sexual means 2 gametes, and in asexual we require either male or female gamete. Okay, then in sexual reproduction, okay, the young one or individual or offspring which is generated, which is not exact same carbon copy of their parents, okay, it comes with some variations. But in asexual reproduction, the young one or a new daughter cell is formed that is an exact carbon copy of the parent. Can you getting? Because only one gamete is involved, so that the all the DNA or proteins are what gets copied exactly same. So here second point, in asexual reproduction the individual, a new individual which is formed is the same or exact carbon copy of a parent, but in sexual reproduction they are not same. The new individual which is formed which is not a same. Okay, so here in asexual reproduction they does not require a special reproductive organ, okay, but in sexual reproduction we have a special reproductive organs as well as we have a special reproductive system. Getting? So this is the third difference. Then for example, in asexual reproduction we just discussed vegetative propagation, then budding is there, spore formation is there, binary fission is there, means we have yeast, amoeba, paramecium, fragmentation, these all processes, and these are the examples we learned. Okay, you can give the fourth point as an example in asexual, and in sexual production you can take the animals and the insects, they can perform the sexual reproduction. I hope you all are getting the answers. Yes, is anyone is having doubt up to here? Can you getting what I am saying here? Can you note it down the points? Okay, don't listen, you can make your own points also. Okay, make your own points. Now everyone can open your NCERT textbook, okay, and check there is a figure given for stamen and pistil. Okay, learn that figures, that are very very important. They will ask that figures for naming. Okay, so maybe they can ask here that for naming. Okay, can you able to see this? Can you able to see these diagrams? Okay, so learn these diagrams, anther and then filament. Actually you are able to see the mirror screen over here. So here anther and filament, they will ask for labeling. Okay, pistil is also there. At the top there is a stigma which contains the sticky substance, and then we have a style, that is a long pipe tube is there, and then after that there is a ovary and the ovules are there. That means in that the ovary there is a eggs are there. So when the pollen grains go into that style and they will what stuck into the ovary, then there is a reproduction takes place in the flowers. Can you getting this? So learn this diagram. Labeling is also very important. Now next question, that is explain the difference between self pollination and cross pollination. Okay, they are asking here, explain the difference between self pollination and cross pollination. in your textbook these statements are given. What do you mean by self and cross pollination? Okay, so here self pollination means what? Mostly self pollination will take place when the flowers are bisexual. Okay, means if there is both male and female reproductive organs are present, okay, then easily there is a reproduction takes place. So self pollination means what? The pollen grains are transferred from anther to the stigma of the same flower. Okay, the pollen grains are what? Get transferred from the stigma to the stigma, anther to the stigma, okay, from the same flower. That is known as the self pollination. And what do you mean by cross pollination? Cross pollination means in certain flowers they are containing either male or female gametes. So for reproduction or for to form a new individual, they require pollen grains from some other plants or from other flowers. Okay, so the pollen grains are transferred from anther to the flower to the stigma of another flower, okay, of the same kind. In that case only that pollination will take place. That is known as a cross pollination. Okay, self pollination only occurs in the bisexual flowers, and cross pollination will take place in the bisexual in a unisexual flowers. Can you getting this? Even sometimes in male gametes and female gametes are present, but sometimes there is a reproduction will not take place. So in that case also bisexual flowers will come under this cross pollination. But for our syllabus we are trying to tell here the bisexual flowers are there, then there is a self pollination takes place, and here unisexual flowers are there, then there we require the pollen grains which we are taking from another flower of the same kind. From that there we are taking pollens and we are dropping on the stigma. Okay, so this is nothing but what? Cross pollination. In cross pollination all unisexual flowers will come. Can you getting this difference? What is the self and cross pollination? Self means they are having an ability, okay, means there is a pollen grains will transfer from anther to stigma of the same flower. But in case of cross pollination the pollen grains will not transfer. The pollen grains they don't have, but we are taking the pollen grains from another flower and we are tapping on the anther of that flower. Okay, then there is a reproduction takes place. Okay, understood this part? Okay, write down the next question. No, all plants cannot do cross pollination. Okay, in certain flowers. Okay, sometimes that bottle gourd is there, then pumpkins are there. Okay, so sometimes that drumsticks are also there. Where I observe that I will tell. I am telling you. So not all in all plants there is a cross pollination is not required. Okay, some flowers by default they are bisexual, so they can, but some are what? Unisexual, there we required cross pollination. Okay, yes, Dinali, are you there? Write down the next question. How does the process of fertilization takes place in the flower? Okay, so write down the question. How does the process of fertilization takes place in the flower? Okay, so whenever this question will come, they will not ask you to draw the diagram, but as this is a biology paper, you have to draw the diagram first. Which diagram? That stigma, anther, then ovary. Okay, that part you have to draw here. Style. Okay, that diagram you have to draw. Then they are asking what? How does the process of fertilization takes place in the flower? So how this process will take place? The pollen grains will fall on the stigma, and they are what going, means anthers are there, that in that anther pollen grains are there that will fall on the stigma, and they will what go they will go from the they will move towards the ovary through the pollen tube or through the style, and then they can fuse with that eggs which are present in the ovary. Means when the male and female gametes are get fused in the ovary, then it forms what the that is known as what the fertilization. Okay, so fusion of male and female gametes to form the zygote, and this process is called as a fertilization. Okay, and this zygote converted into the embryo, and this embryo undergo multiple divisions, and this is also known as a meiotic cell division, and there is a formation of seed takes place. Okay, so like this is what the answer expected. So what do you mean by fertilization in the flower? So when male and female gametes are fused together, it forms an embryo, and this process is known as what fertilization. And here this embryo undergoes into the multiple or meiotic divisions, okay, to form the seed. So basically you can explain this also, the anthers, from the anthers that pollen grains will fall on the stigma, then stigma receives that pollen grains and sending to the ovary through the pollen tube, and when this pollen grains gets fused with the eggs which are present in the ovary, they can form what the zygote. Okay, and that zygote will convert into embryo, and this will go to the meiotic division to form the seed. Can you getting the answer how to write? Okay, can you getting? At least press like something you can write there, then I will come to know that whether you are getting or not. Yes, Denali getting? Akshars? Then next they are asking, describe the various ways by which seed are dispersed. Okay, here we just now in 1 mark question I explained you that fill in the blank. Seeds are get dispersed by the air, by the water, and due to the weather. Okay, or we can say that by the due to the wind or water, or due to the animals, wind, water, and animals. Okay, so wind means what? Some lightweight seeds will what get they are, if there is a high speed breeze is there, then they can displace from one place to another place. Okay, so that seeds will go, and they are what, if they get a favorable conditions, they are started growing. Then water means some seeds suppose fall into the water, and they are flowing with the help, they are flowing in the water, and somewhere they will stuck, and if they get a favorable conditions, then again they are what started growing. Okay, then after that animals, or we can say that insects, birds, because of this also the seeds are what get dispersed. How? Sometimes what will happen, we are moving, we are traveling with certain pulses, cereals and all, if they fall there, then they will what started growing. Then animals are eating the pulses or seeds, and through their excreta that seeds are what coming out, and they are what started growing over there. So here many ways are there for the seed dispersal, but here we can say that air, water, and animals are, these are the three things are there where the seed dispersal takes place. Okay, so in exam also we have to write the various ways of the seed dispersal are air, water, and animal. Okay, and explain one by one point wise. They are not required here answers in the paragraph. Getting this what I am saying? Can you all getting? Okay, so there is a match the following is there. column 1 and column 2. I will read out. So if you want, you can write down. In column 1 it is given bud. Column 1 it's given first point bud, second eyes, third fragmentation, fourth wings, E spores. I'll repeat the column 1, bud, eyes, fragmentation, wings and spores. Okay. In column 2 they are given maple, spirogyra, yeast, bread mold, potato and rose. Okay. Column 2 I will read it one more time. Maple, spirogyra, yeast, bread mold, potato and rose. Okay. So here, can you match? Budding will takes place where? I explained you. Budding will takes place in east. So east is the correct option. Eyes, in potato eyes are there, no? So is the potato is there? Yes, potato. Then fragmentation will takes place in the spirogyra. Okay. Wings are there in what? Maple. Okay, maple leaves are there, no? So not maple leaves, that wings are there. At the end of this chapter in NCERT you can check. The maple is there and that is what? Flowing in the air, that having wings. So last spores will take, spore formation will take place on the bread mold. Okay. So these are the answers. Getting this? Now I'll ask you some rapid fire round. That means I will ask you some question. Try to answer it. I will give you option also. The reproductive part of a plant is leaf, stem, root and flower. Here first, the reproductive part of the plant is leaf, stem, root and flower. Yes. Can anyone answer? What is the reproductive part in the plant? Whether it is leaf, stem, root or flower. Does anyone know the answer? I told you, I explained you many times, the reproductive part in the plant is nothing but flower. Okay, flower is a reproductive part. The next one, the process of fusion of male and female gamete is called. The process of fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization, pollination, reproduction and seed formation. The process of fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization, pollination, reproduction and seed formation. The process of fusion of male and female gametes are nothing but what? Fertilization. Okay. So answer is here fertilization. Then next one, mature ovary forms seed, stamen, pistil and fruit. Okay, very important. Mature ovary forms the seed, stamen, pistil and fruit. So they always form the fruit. Okay, they always form what? The fruit. Then next one is the spore producing organism. The spore producing organism is rose, bread mold, potato and ginger. Okay, spore formation takes place where? Rose, bread mold, potato and ginger. Where it will take place? bread mold, no, because just now I explained you spore formation where the food is there in a airtight container, or if it is kept in a moist area, then immediately there is what that is attacked by the fungus, and that bluish black substance is what forming over there, and that growth is so rapid because there is a formation of spores. Okay, so next question, bryophyllum can produced by its stem, its leaves, roots and flowers. Bryophyllum is related to the asexual reproduction. It is related with the leaf. Okay, on the edges of the leaf or at the outer edge, there is what a new leaves are what started coming in the bryophyllum. So answer is here leaves. Okay, getting this? So now we can go for some other questions. I hope you all are getting this. Okay. So now here I will ask you the questions. Which is the reproductive part of the plant? Which is the reproductive part of the plant? Okay. Flower is the reproductive part of the plant. Okay, just now we did some questions, maybe repeat here. Okay, so which is the part, reproductive part in the plant? That is a flower. Okay, name the cell formed as a product of fertilization. So when fertilization takes place, when male and female uh, gametes are fused together, then it forms what? The fertilization. And that due to that fertilization, there is a formation of zygote. Can you getting this? Due to formation, due to the fertilization, there is a zygote is formed. So name the cell formed by the product of fertilization. That is a zygote is the answer. Getting this? Now next question. What is the male reproductive part of the flower? I hope you all are writing the answers, questions, no? Write down. What is the male reproductive part of the flower? So, no man. Reproductive part of a plant is flower. Okay. Reproductive part of a plant is flower. But here they are asking specifically which is the male reproductive part in the flower or of the flower. Okay, what is a male reproductive part of a flower? Male reproductive, as we learn, no, bisexual and unisexual. Bisexual means what? There is a both male and female gametes are present. That means there is a male and female reproductive organs are present. Okay, parts are present over there. So I told you many times, stamen is are the reproductive male reproductive parts of the flower. Okay, stamens are the male reproductive parts of the flower. Getting this? Now next, what is the female reproductive part of the flower? What is the female reproductive part of the flower? I hope you all are writing the questions. I will check for the in the next session. Okay, what is the female reproductive part of the flower? What is the female reproductive part of the flower? So pistil is the female reproductive part of the flower. Getting this? Pistil is the female reproductive part of the flower. Don't be confused and don't make don't write the answer in hurry barily. Read the questions properly and then only you can attempt the questions. Otherwise, you will write down the wrong answer. How anther? Anther is a that male reproductive part. Okay. So pistil is a female reproductive part. Now their next question is there. Write down what mature ovary turns into. What mature ovary turns into. So once ovary is mature, then it converts that into fruit. Okay, so even if you are writing seed is also okay, because seed will form when the fruit forms first and then it gives the seed. Okay, once the ovary will get mature, it gives the fruit. Okay, and from that fruit we are getting seeds. Okay, yes. Next question is that, write down, what is a node? What is a node? What is a node? Node is nothing but what? At the second page of this chapter, node is nothing but part of a stem or branch at which a leaf arises. Okay, a node is a part of a stem or branch at which the leaf arises. That part is known as what? The node. Okay, that rose a picture is given. There we can see the small nodes where the plant can what? Grow, or the leaves are what? Started growing or rises. Okay, new plants are coming from the node. Okay, now next question, write down, give example of a plants, give examples of a plants that reproduce by means of spores, by means of spores, by means of spores. Okay, give examples of a plants that reproduce by means of spores. Means, okay, plants such as moss and ferns reproduce by the means of spores. Okay, plants such as moss and ferns reproduce by the means of spores. Getting? Moss and ferns, they can reproduce by the means of spores. Getting this? So give me a 2 minutes. Just stay online, I'll come in 2 minutes. Yes, sorry. So give the examples of plants that reproduce by means of spores. Okay, that is nothing but moss and fern that produce due to the spore formation. Moss, MOSS, and fern, FERNS. Okay, so these are the two plants which are grown due to the spore formation. Now next question, how fungi grow on a bread? Write down how fungi grow on the bread. How fungi will grow on the bread? Due to spore formation. Okay, due to the spore formation, or we can write here the peas grow from the spores which are present in the air. Okay, these spores are present in the air, and slowly that bread means there is a fungi is what started growing on the bread if there is a favorable conditions are there, or if you are writing only due to spore formation is also correct answer, and these spores are basically present in the air. Getting this? So next question, write down what are the two modes of reproduction in plants? What are the two modes of reproduction in plants? One is asexual and another is sexual. Asexual we learn, no? Only one gamete is there, and in asexual reproduction there is a budding, then spore formation, fragmentation, okay, vegetative propagation. These all are examples of asexual reproduction. And in sexual reproduction, that means the reproductive part in the plant is flower, and it contains both male and female reproductive part. So there is a sexual reproduction is also takes place. Okay, there are two types of reproduction will takes place, that is sexual and asexual reproduction. Can you getting this? Okay, write down the next question. Everything ये करते हैं. Okay, the next one is what is a fertilization? Next question, what is the fertilization? Okay, what do you mean by fertilization? Fertilization is nothing but fusion of male and female gametes, okay, which forms the zygote, is called as a fertilization. Okay, and fertilization are also two types. One is internal fertilization and another is a external fertilization. They are not asking here, they are asking only what do you mean by fertilization. Fertilization is nothing but fusion of male and female gametes to form the zygote. This process is known as a fertilization. Okay, so now next question, write down what is a reproduction? What is reproduction? If you are not writing appropriate answers, then examiner will not give the marks. Okay, that is for sure. If you are writing the answers in a paragraph, like in paragraph, no one will entertain you. Okay, you have to write the answers nicely, or you can write the answers properly, point wise. If you are writing, then only you will get the marks. Then now next one, what is a reproduction? What do you mean by reproduction? Reproduction is nothing but what? The formation of new individual due to the fusion of male and female gametes is nothing but what? The reproduction. Getting this? Or we can say that a production of individual from their parent is known as a reproduction. Getting this? The next question, write down which plant grows from the roots. Which plants grows from the root? Okay, potatoes are having eyes, and they can turn into the roots, and potato can grow with the help of roots, as well as there is a dahlia is there. Okay, that are the examples. The roots of some plants can also give rise to a new plants, that is nothing but sweet potato as well as dahlia. Okay, these are the example. Okay, now write down next one. What do you mean by cacti reproduce? Okay, chalo. So next is what how do cacti reproduce? CACTI, cacti. Okay, how do cacti reproduce? Cacti is nothing but a plant such as cacti produce a new plants when their parts get detached from the main part of the body. This is also known as a budding. This will come under the budding. So we have a plant hydra. Okay, so we have a plant here hydra, and at the bottom of this hydra there is a small outward projection will come, and that projection will grow, and once it will mature, then it is get detached from the parent body. Okay, and once it is get detached from the parent body, then it is started growing by its own. Okay, and that turn into the new plant. Okay, that is known as a cacti reproduce. What do you mean by cacti reproduce? Cacti reproduce means the cacti produces a new plants of their parts once it is get detached from the parent plant. Okay, that is nothing but cacti reproduction. Understood? Then write down the next question. What is a pollination? What is pollination? What is pollination, and name its type? Okay, what is pollination and name its type? Okay, what is pollination and name its type? What do you mean by pollination? Okay, there are pollen grains are there, and these pollen grains are transferred from the anther to stigma of a flower. Okay, so transfer of pollen grains from the anther to stigma, and they are going towards the ovary. This is known as what? Pollination. Okay, and pollination are of two types. One is self pollination and another is a cross pollination. Getting? And you can explain self pollination means pollen grains are there from the same plant or from the same flower, and in cross pollination we are taking pollen grains from the another plant which is of same kind. Okay, so these are the example. Question I will repeat one more time. What do you mean by pollination? Name its type. Okay, next, what are unisexual flowers? Next is what are the unisexual flowers? Give examples. What are the unisexual flowers? Give the example. What do you mean by unisexual flowers? That means unisexual flowers means whether there is a only presence of either male or female gametes. Okay, so either there is a pistil or stamens are present. Okay, so they are not able to reproduce the fruit. Okay, they can able to produce a flower, but they are not able to produce the fruit because there is only one gamete is present. So for example, corn is there, papaya is there, cucumber is there, they produce the unisexual flowers. So whenever there is certain plants which are unisexual, so people are taking anthers, or sorry, not anther, pollen grains from another plant, and they are what? Brushing on the on that flower so that they can able to reproduce. Can you getting this? Can you getting this? Unisexual flowers and their examples. Okay, so write down next question. What are the bisexual flowers? Give example. Bisexual flowers are the flowers where there is a both male and female reproductive parts are there. So there is a pollination will takes place in the plants itself. No pollen grains from the other plants are required. That is called as what? The bisexual flowers. For example, mustard, rose, petunia, these all are what? Bisexual flowers. Can you getting this? Then next one is the what? Write down the question. What are the different modes of asexual reproduction? What are the Okay, sorry. So, what are the different modes of sexual reproduction? Okay, write down what are the different modes of sexual reproduction. So, different modes of sexual reproduction we discussed now at the beginning of the this session. There is budding, fragmentation, fission, then there is a spore formation, vegetative propagation. These are the example of asexual reproduction. Can you getting what are the different modes of asexual reproduction? There are the vegetative propagation, budding, spore formation, fission, okay, and fragmentation. These are the examples of the asexual reproduction. Getting this? Understood? So write down the next question. Write down the next question. Okay, so now here write down what are the vegetative parts of the plants. What are the vegetative parts of the plants? I explained, roots, stem and leaves. These are the three important parts, vegetative parts of the plants. Getting root, stem and leaves. The next question, write down, explain what you understand by the sexual reproduction. What do you understand by the what do you understand by sexual reproduction? So sexual reproduction, due to fusion of male and female gametes, there is a young one or individual one is what formed, is called as what? Sexual reproduction. Okay, again now questions are repeating. Write down next question. State the main difference between State the main differences between sexual and asexual reproduction. So sexual and asexual reproduction is nothing but what? The sexual reproduction where two gametes, means male and female gametes are present. Okay, but in asexual reproduction only one gamete is present. In asexual reproduction the young one is exact carbon copy of their parent. In sexual reproduction there is a no there is a individual which is formed which is not exactly same as that of parent, as there is a both gametes are involved. Okay, some variations are there. So sexual reproduction will takes place in animals, okay, and in human beings, and asexual reproduction will takes place in some amoeba, spirogyra, okay. These are the examples you can give. Getting this? These are the main important points. I discussed this question at the beginning of this session. Okay. Now next question is there. Write down. what will happen if all seeds of a plant were to fall at the same place at the same place at the same place at the same place and grow there. Okay, I'll repeat this. What happen if all seeds of plant were to fall at the same place and grow there? Okay, so if suppose all the seeds will fall on the same place, then what will happen? All the seeds are what get germinated, but some seeds are not getting the favorable condition like nutrition, water, okay, minerals, they are not getting. So some plants grow properly, some are not growing properly. Okay, so there will be no healthy plants are generated. So this is a problem if the all seeds are sowed at a one point, or so if you are throwing all the seeds at a one place, this is a drawback. So that's what, whenever if you know the farming, then that farmers are what sowing the seed at some distances. Getting this? So this is the answer. Now next, what is the function of flowers in the plant? Write down. What is the function of flowers? What is the function of flowers in the plant? Okay, write down the question. What is the function of flowers in the plant? Okay, so actually, as I discussed you, flower is a reproductive part in the plant, and as flowers are having sepals and carpels, so here the sepals, even the petals are also there, are of different colors. They attract different insects, and as they have both male and female reproductive parts on the of a flower, so they can take a part in the reproduction. Okay, so this is what the function of the flower in the plant. And once there is a reproduction takes place, then there is a formation of the seed, or there is a formation of fruit, and that fruit is get converted into seed. Getting this? Now next question, how are plants benefited? How are plants benefited by seed dispersal? How are plants benefited by seed dispersal? So here, what type of seeds are dispersed by the animals? What types of seeds are dispersed by the animals? Okay, this is also very important question. Some seeds are dispersed by the animals, especially spiny seeds with hooks, which get attached to the bodies of the animals and are carried to distant places. For example, xanthium and urina. Okay, These are the seeds. These are the plants, those who are having the spiny seeds with the hook structure. Okay, so basically these plants are having this kind of seeds, and they are get attached with the legs of the animals, and they are what get dispersed from one place to another place. Getting this? Now next question, write down. How potatoes how do potatoes reproduce? How do potatoes reproduce? Here expected answer. The potatoes are generated through the vegetative propagation. Very important. There is a vegetative reproduction takes place in the potato. Okay, so this can be done by the planting a part of potato with an eye. Okay, that we are sowing into the soil, and if we are watering regularly, and if it is getting the adequate amount of sunlight, then it is what started growing, then new potatoes are what started forming in few days. Okay, here the new stem start on the eyes of the potato, and potato plant is what started developing. Okay, this is nothing but what a production in the production of a potato. This is done by the vegetative propagation. This is very very important. Can you getting this? Understood? So I will stop here. Some questions are left that we can do in the next class. Okay, so up to that you can read this chapter and prepare all the diagrams from this chapter. Okay, tomorrow also I will keep one more session, so you all can join. Okay, thank you, thanks for joining. Now you can leave. I hope you everyone understood the answers which we discussed here. Okay, you can read your NCERT textbook one more time, then it will be great. Then you can able to write all MCQs. Okay, thank you, thanks for joining. Now you can leave.